Put your hands together to welcome Selen Etican.
Best dress.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy evening. Happy evening?
Happy.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, let me just have a look at the numbers that we have. Can all the Rotarians in this room stand up? Rotarians. Okay? Right, wonderful. Now, please be seated. Can all the Toastmasters in this room please be upstanding? Wow. 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 Okay. Wonderful. Can all the Rotarians and Toastmasters, that means those with membership in both the organizations, please remain standing? Or please be standing. Okay, very good. Okay, everyone sit down. Thank you. So, I'm here today to share a little bit about Toastmasters and Rotary, which I believe most of us here already are quite well versed with, members of one at least, or both organizations. And I'm here to maybe put up another challenge for us in World Speech Day, especially to the Rotarians and the Toastmasters, which I'll tell you about in further down my speech. Rotary International started or was chartered in the year 1905. So that's more than 100 years of history. Yeah? More than 100 years of history. And it is in more than 200 countries around the world. That means its membership in terms of countries with Rotary clubs rivals the United Nations. That is the network of Rotary. Meanwhile, Toastmasters International, which is quite similarly structured like Rotary International in terms of the international level and in district level, started in the year 1924. Am I right? Yes. And it has grown exponentially in terms of membership, I believe, from the year 2005 to 2010 onwards. Because despite all the artificial intelligence that we were given a very good talk by Encik Ahmad, we human beings still need interaction among us. And I believe that is something that no artificial intelligence can ever replace. Because connecting with a fellow human being is just something that we of the same species, if I may use the word, would totally understand, compared to connecting with a computer or an artificial intelligent gadget or whatever it is. And in Rotary, just like in Toastmasters, just like we are here today, that's how we stay connected. Rotary has been involved in many service projects and even humanitarian projects worldwide for many decades. And one of the, if not the signature project for Rotary International is actually the End Polio project, which was first initiated in the year 1986 and was formalized in the year 1988. So quite some time ago. And at that time, some of you may remember or may be aware, more than 150 countries in the world were still afflicted with polio cases, including Malaysia and Singapore, where many of us are from. And it was formalized in 1988 with WHO, World Health Organization, being in the main steering seat of the partnership together with Rotary International, with our 1.2 million members worldwide. The US CDC, which was and probably still is the most advanced center for disease control in the world, and UNICEF, an integral part of United Nations. Of course, funding, at least 30%, came from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, starting from the 1990s, at least in the mid-1990s, when Bill Gates was already the richest person in the world. And Gavi, it's a global alliance for vaccine, right? So it advocates and promotes vaccine, especially for our young ones. And to date, more than 15 billion US dollars. I checked just now in the GPEI. This alliance is formerly known as Global Polio Eradication Initiative, GPEI. It has disbursed more than 15 billion US dollars for polio eradication around the world. And today, as we stand here, as we sit here, there are only officially 3 countries where polio is still spreading. Only 3. And amazingly, even India and China has no more polio cases. These 3 countries, of course, they have their issues, including being war-torn sometimes. So they are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. But Nigeria has not had any polio case for quite some time, at least more than a year. Although for WHO to certify it to be polio-free, it has to be 3 years at least, without a single case. Unfortunately, we realized the importance because Malaysia had no more polio cases since the mid-1990s, but it resurfaced again because of our globalized world. In Sabah, if you have been reading the papers and the media, polio cases resurfaced in Sabah mainly due to the lack of immunization for children of migrants, especially from Philippines and Indonesia. So we have to be really, really careful because unless you eradicate it totally, it can come back to us someday, like what is really happening now. So for me, I think that's how we can contribute. And in Toastmasters, of course, it's more about self-improvement. So we improve ourselves, and as what my brother in Rotary and Toastmasters, Richard Ong, said, we can always give back to society with the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. So my challenge to everyone and your friends and your fellow Rotarians and Toastmasters is, I hope to be able to collaborate with as many as you in giving back to society with our talent. And what is our talent? Something we have in common today. We are good in our communication and public speaking skills. I recall about 3 years ago, Ban Seng, Richard, Kok Wing, and a few others collaborated between Rotary E Club of 3310 Singapore and Rotary Club of Muar, where I am from, to give a very impactful and meaningful communication and public speaking workshop for about 160 students in Muar, secondary students. So I hope in the near future, please contact me. I will get in touch with as many as possible. We can do this together again for our younger generation, especially our secondary school students. A similar kind, or maybe even better, communication and public speaking workshop where we all contribute our talent for the betterment of our younger generation. Yeah, I hope to see that. So maybe we can even do a WSD that is also a workshop for certain schools in Melaka or even Muar. Okay, with that, I thank you.